Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And to start the weekend, we got some excellent news. The offseason has officially kicked off. We had the Carolina Panthers trade up to the first overall. Looks like they're dead set on getting their rookie quarterback one. The Chicago Bears traded back. They got a whole lot of picks. They got DJ Moore. It looked like a Ryan Poles masterclass. I think they got a really good package for that first overall pick. So of course, with the updated draft order, we're going to do a mock draft. If you guys are brand new to the channel, what we do here is turbo mocks. So I take about like 20 seconds or so just to explain each pick. I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. I don't like having my videos 30 minutes long, so I like to get my information directly to you in a streamlined fashion. If this kind of content interests you guys at all, I suggest you hit the subscribe button down below. That way you guys can stay up to date on my latest videos. All right, without a further ado, let's get right into the Panthers pick. All right, so first on the clock, we have the Carolina Panthers. Now, normally this would be Bryce Young, but I guess Josh McCown, the QB coach for the Panthers, is all over CJ Stroud. Frank Reich also has a history of coaching all these bigger quarterback prospects. The betting odds for CJ Stroud being the first overall has gone up immensely, and he's the favorite now. We're going to take all that information. We're just going to take CJ Stroud at the first overall. If that's their QB1, let's give it to him. We're on the clock with the Houston Texans. They need their franchise quarterback. We're sitting here at the second overall pick. You get a chance to take the QB1 in this class. Let's take Bryce Young. This team needs a whole lot of pieces, but Bryce Young at the second overall is a no-brainer by me. We're on the clock with the Cardinals here, and this is a team that has continuously said that they're looking to trade back, but I feel like after the trade up yesterday, no team is going to be willing to trade up to the Arizona Cardinals pick for the third overall quarterback in this class. We're going to sit put for the Cardinals, and we're going to take the best defensive prospect in the entire class in Will Anderson. Indy's on the clock at the fourth overall. With the latest buzz on all the teams being super high on Anthony Richardson now, nobody increased their draft stock more than Anthony Richardson after the combine. We're going to pair Anthony Richardson with a coach who has already dealt with Jalen Hurts. He knows how to take that kind of quarterback and build around him, build to his strengths. He knows how to be successful with that kind of quarterback. So we're going to take someone with some sky high potential. We're still pretty confused as to what to do with Jalen Carter. I'm still going to take him here at the fifth overall. It's still to be determined as to what his situation does to his draft stock, but I think he's an excellent player, obviously one of the best defensive players in this entire draft. For the sake of this mock and unsure what the future looks like for this player, we're going to take him here at the fifth overall for the Seattle Seahawks. Now we're on the clock with the Detroit Lions. They're going to take a cornerback. Their secondary needs a little bit of help. Christian Gonzalez is the clear CB1 in this class in my eyes. I think in a lot of the eyes of the NFL execs and scouts as well. We're going to take Gonzo here. He looks like he's going to be a top 10 pick regardless, so let's just get him on the roster. Next up, we get the Raiders. Now there's a big question mark as to what QB they're targeting in free agency. We're going to take Will Levis here. Even if they get Jimmy G, I think it's good to get a rookie quarterback on the team. I think Will Levis at the seventh overall is probably around the range that he's going to go. The Atlanta Falcons need a pass rush desperately. Tyree Wilson's probably a top 5 player in the entire draft. He falls here to the 8th overall. We're going to take him and not look back. Now, after Chicago traded back, this team could go a million different ways since they're a rebuilding team. I think the smartest move here is to take a franchise left tackle. Now, I think pairing Jackson Smith and Jigba with Justin Fields would be brilliant. They could also take a cornerback. They could do whatever they feel like doing. But I think just getting a franchise left tackle is the smartest move, and you're going to invest in your quarterback long term. We've got a disgruntled Darius Slay on the Eagles roster. We're taking a cornerback here. We've been consistent with taking cornerback for this team regardless. Joey Porter Jr. is going to fit that scheme exceptionally well. I think he helped himself out really well at the combine. Kind of a safe, no-brainer pick here for the Eagles. They're going to take Joey Porter Jr. We're on the clock at the 11th overall with the Tennessee Titans. They're pretty much cutting every single one of their offensive linemen. They drafted Nicholas Petit-Ferrer. They're going to go back to the same school and take Paris Johnson Jr. They're going to replace that left tackle gap. The Houston Texans selected Bryce Young with the second overall. We're going to do him a favor, and we're going to get an X receiver on the roster for him. Nico Collins is a great wide receiver 3-ish. Bryce Young is going to pair up with John Mechie in the slot. He'll have Nico Collins as his wide receiver 3. We're going to get him a wide receiver 1 in Quentin Johnston. The Jets are on the clock. They're probably going to get Aaron Rodgers on their team. We'll do this mock under the assumption of that. It seems like it's pretty much a done deal. It also sounds like they're not going to have to forfeit this 13th overall pick for him. So we're going to get them a left tackle. Peter Skoronski is going to go to the Jets. They've been comparing him to like Elijah Vera Tucker because of his versatility on the offensive line. Now AVT has been excellent for the Jets. We're going to get a very similar prospect. We're going to start him at left tackle, and then we can adjust if we need to. Now we're on the clock with the 14th overall. My Patriots need 3 things: offensive tackle, wide receiver, and cornerback. I believe the Pats are going to address at least the right tackle in the free agency this week, and there are also good cornerback players on the market right now. You would have loved the top 3 tackles to be here at the 14th overall, but the Patriots are going to get a slot receiver. We're probably letting Jacoby Myers walk. We're going to replace that player with Jackson Smith and Jigba here. This pick will make a lot of Patriots fans happy. I think he's worthy of a top 15 pick. Now, is it the smartest pick for the Patriots? Probably not. I think the smart bet would be going offensive tackle. But in this mock, we're going to take Jackson Smith and Jigba, and we're going to help out that receiving core as much as we can. I think he's a special prospect. Now, we're on the clock with the Green Bay Packers. This team needs a whole bunch of different things. I think you could go offensive line. Obviously, you could go receiver, but we're going to go back to the Georgia well and take Nolan Smith here. Nolan Smith is a very good edge prospect. He tested out of this world at the combine. Nolan Smith to Green Bay just feels like a Green Bay pick, and I think he's probably going to be a top 20 player in the draft this year. This is going to be my second mock in a row that I'm going to take Devin Witherspoon to the Commanders. He kind of feels like he's one of the forgotten cornerbacks in the top 3 here. I do think he's a top 10 talent, but this offseason, he's not doing himself any favors. He's a little banged up, and he's not interviewing too much. We haven't heard too much about him, and in the meantime, a lot of other players are increasing their draft stock. He falls to 16th overall here, and the Commanders get a steal in Devin Witherspoon. The Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the teams that desperately need offensive tackle. I feel like they're just guaranteed to take one in the first round this year. We're going to go on the right side of the line and take Darnell Wright. Mike Tomlin got to meet him and work with him firsthand at the Senior Bowl. Darnell Wright is definitely worthy of this 17th overall pick, and they're going to drastically improve their offensive line here. We're on the clock with Detroit here. They do need more edge rush help. Aiden Hutchinson looks like he's a really good player, but we're going to take Lucas Van Ness. He's going to come from the Big Ten just like Aiden Hutchinson did. He's a very big athletic defensive end. He's going to be able to set the edge, get after the quarterback. His upside is so high, and he's a young player, so we're going to get him. He's going to play opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, and this defense is going to be able to fly around after the quarterback. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a team that needs an offensive tackle. They just got rid of Donovan Smith, who was one of the league's worst this past season. Penalties out the wazoo. We're going to take Anton Harrison, who's probably going to end up a top 25-ish player in my rankings. I think he's a set and forget pass blocking left tackle. He has excellent film. He's a really good prospect in my eyes, and I believe he's right on the cusp of being one of the tier 1 tackles in this class. We're going to keep bulking up that defensive line for the Seattle Seahawks. Miles Murphy is a little bit of a faller lately. I think he probably ends up in the top 20 picks. Seattle could really benefit from taking a player like this at the 20th overall. Their offense was super explosive. Yes, they could use offensive linemen, but they're going to get a very good player here at the 20th overall. The Chargers are on the clock with the 22nd overall. Dalton Kincaid has been getting crazy draft hype. He is a very, very good receiving option at tight end. Now, this team, they need more receiving options. Yes, Keenan Allen is staying. Mike Williams is really good. But here with Dalton Kincaid, you're going to get a really special talent at the tight end position. He can stretch the field. He's so good with his hands. He doesn't drop balls. He's just really explosive and one of the best pass catchers altogether in this class. My gut tells me that Lamar Jackson's still going to be a Raven when all is said and done. Now, there might be some bad blood in the water. Who really knows? We're going to answer some problems here and take Zay Flowers. This team probably needs wide receiver more than any team in the NFL. I think Zay Flowers is a good, not great prospect, but he's probably going to be a day 1 guy, and I think you stick him in the slot here and he can pair really well with Rashad Bateman. Word on the street is people are calling about Dalvin Cook. He is a cap casualty. He's getting up there in age, and he has regressed as a runner. We're going to take Bijan Robinson here and get a special playmaker. Now, if Dalvin Cook is still there, they can split the workload year 1. I think Bijan's probably a better player just out the gate, but it really feels like he's probably going to be cut. They're just paying way too much money for a running back right now who's not producing at the top tier of the running backs in the NFL. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. This team needs secondary help, and we're going to take someone who's a very special prospect in Brian Branch. Now, he probably projects as like a free safety, but he has so much experience in the slot. He's just going to be able to help out in coverage and be a playmaker on that secondary. We're not going to let Jordan Addison fall out of the first round. Although I think there is a better chance now for that to happen after his poor combine. He's going to go to the New York Giants, and Daniel Jones is going to get a weapon immediately. That wide receiver core just needs help. Dallas needs some interior defensive linemen. We're going to take Brian Brzee here. He had himself an excellent combine. He was a really good 5-star recruit going into college. I think his best football is ahead of him. He's going to be a really good addition on that defensive line. He's very aggressive getting after the passer, but he also holds his own as a run defender. I think this is a really good value pick here. The Buffalo Bills are terrible on that right side of the offensive line. They're going to take a chance here on DeJuan Jones, a super massive offensive tackle. We're going to help Josh Allen out as much as we can on the offensive line. We want to be able to preserve his health long long term, and this is a way you can do it. We're legitimately out of day one tackles. A tackle would be my automatic pick for the Bengals, but we're going to take a very good tight end prospect in Michael Mayer here. Now, he's not the best blocking tight end in the class, but I think he's a very safe floor, sure-handed tight end prospect. This offense is just going to get more explosive. He's going to be really good in the red zone. The New Orleans Saints are going to take Kalijah Kancey here. He's an excellent day one defensive tackle. He has really good tape, really good production. He tested like a combined monster. This team is going to get a discount here on Kalijah Kancey, as he's probably going to end up in the top 25 or so. This pick is kind of interesting for me. The Eagles have some really big question marks on the offensive line long term. Lane Johnson might retire, same with Jason Kelce. The Eagles fans make it sound like a sin when I say that, but it's just reality. Now, someone who has got some serious buzz as a day one talent is Steve Avila from TCU. Now, he has experience at every single spot on the offensive line. He can play center at a high level, guard at a high level, and he can flex to tackle. We're going to take a versatile offensive line piece, and wherever they have holes, he's going to be able to step up and play above replacement level. With the last pick in the first round, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. This team needs a few different positions. They did just win the Super Bowl, so I'm sure they're going to get some really good free agents. But right now, I feel like they really need a good corner. I do like Trent McDuffie. L'Jarius Sneed plays well in the slot. I think Deonte Banks is a day one prospect all day long. You could also argue Cam Smith here, but I think Deonte Banks just tested out of this world. He has really good tape and versatility. He's a really good pick here at the 32nd, and he's going to be able to help out that defense immensely on day one. All right, let's talk about some of the things we did. The first overall is going to be CJ Stroud. The Houston Texans are going to land Bryce Young at the 2nd overall. We took Jalen Carter at the 5th overall. His situation's really confusing. It's kind of pending right now, but I think he's a top 5 player without a doubt. After trading back, the Bears are going to take Broderick Jones here. They're going to get a franchise left tackle for Justin Fields. We're going to pair Quentin Johnson with Bryce Young. That's going to be a really explosive, fun offense. This is going to be the first time in any of my mocks that we take JSN to New England. We get Dalton Kincaid in the top 22 picks. He's going to go to the Chargers for a team who desperately needs some tight end help. Bijan Robinson goes to the Vikings after some Dalvin Cook speculation. We ran out of day one tackles for the Bengals. Michael Mayer is going to fit in and be a great tight end prospect for him. Steve Avila makes a debut in our mock drafts. I like his versatility. This team needs versatility on the offensive line. Kind of a fun pick, might be a little bit of a reach, but I think he's a really good player. Any team would like him. And then lastly, the Kansas City Chiefs upgrade their secondary with Deonte Banks. I really like the player. I like the fit. I like the versatility. All right, fellas, that's all I got for you today. We always like to try brand new things when we do these mocks. We can't get stuck in the same patterns mock after mock. It gets boring that way. I like to take some of the draft buzz and just roll with it. I also like to project some of my own things. So we just like to have fun here, keep it fresh, keep it light. So hopefully I got your team every player you guys wanted. And if not, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.